Hi, I'm Jane Evans, and I had the amazing pleasure of training in quantum energy coaching back in May 2018, so nearly 2 years ago now. And what drew me to QEC was mostly I was looking for a tool for the parents that I was coaching. And I was coming very much from a trauma perspective. So looking for something that would alleviate parents of their own childhood trauma, because, in the work I was doing, I could just see it always playing out and paying forward in their parenting, as it will do. Little did I know when I began the amazing training that it was also, QEC was also going to completely transform parts of my life that up until then I had never ever been able to get beyond. So even though I've spent the last probably 16 years of my life studying early childhood trauma, so the neuroscience, the neurophysiology, the neurobiology behind it, something called polyvagal theory, and yeah, was an avid reader and reflector and learner, and then applying it into direct work that I was doing, and also using it to try and fathom myself out. I was still stuck personally with ongoing levels of anxiety that weren't as dramatic as they used to be, but was certainly showing up in multiple ways in my daily life, which I only now realize because I'm rid of it all. And so, doing this training with Melanie, it gave me exactly the missing pieces of the puzzles for myself, but also for my coaching that I do with parents. And why did it do that? Well, the missing piece of the puzzle was that I had not come across the idea of the power of the subconscious. So a lot of the stuff I've been doing up until I trained in QEC and started to experience it and use it was very intellectual. It was very conscious. I was really good at explaining to parents and professionals the mechanisms in our brain and in our bodies and what happens when we have early complex trauma, which we all have to lesser or greater extent. So I could explain it, I could give them a way to support children and adults around it. I could use it in my coaching, all good and great, but I couldn't alleviate the recurring trauma until, that is, I began to, I did the training with Melanie, and I've had ongoing continual personal development training with Melanie in her incredible workshops that she does, which brings such a richness to my practice, and it completely has changed me in ways that I never knew existed. So by that, what I mean is that now I have this internal, beautifully solid but flexible inner peace, inner safety. And inner safety is the thing that when you have early trauma, you lose. You don't even get. You don't have that internal kind of experience of and then somebody comes and they make you feel emotionally physical safe again, so that you experience inner safety through your nervous system, actually, is what I've learned from my work with Melanie. And because you experience it through your nervous system, it settles your body, settles your brain, settles your emotions, and life feels fine again. And when you don't get that early on, then you're just set all the time for everything to flick you either into fight or flight or into complete shutdown. And that was totally how I was living my life. I'd have very severe periods of anxiety. I'd been off work sometimes for like 3 months in a row with anxiety. I'd had clinical depression. I'd been suicidal on and off from the age of 11, if you can even, hopefully you can't imagine that, but I definitely had been. And my anorexia began around about 11 as well. And now, honestly, I am so grounded, so calm. I love my life always, pretty much 99% of the time. And, you know, in terms of the work that I do, I get the most incredible outcomes with and for the parents I work with, because you know, they come to me often because they're struggling with their children and they're worried about their children. Sometimes they have awareness that it's coming from them, and sometimes they don't. And then we use QEC at the core of everything that I do. So I might explain to them, you know, this is the way your child brains work and all the rest of it. But I know now that unless we clear away all the things that were layered on the parent in their childhood, they keep showing up in their parenting, in their relationship with their children. So it brings incredible outcomes, not just for the parent, but of course the children, because when the parent's energy changes and their subconscious changes and isn't leaping in all the time, then they show up completely differently in their children's lives. So, you know, not only have I had this complete different Jane show up and stay forever and ever, because she can't go now, but that's what I get to create in the work that I do pretty much every day. And so, you know, I don't have words. It makes me very emotional when I even think about what Melanie's work and what QEC has meant for me. But also I see the relationship with my son. We are very, very, very close, but there's a richness to our relationship now that didn't exist before. And the relationship I have with my mum, which has always been, you know, I love my mum, but it's been deeply complex, that has also shifted. So I can't recommend QEC enough. I just cannot. Of all the things I've ever done, I've ever invested my time and my resources in, this is the one that has changed me forever. And it also gives me the incredible humbling experiencing of helping my clients change their lives forever too.